She begged us to hide her from her father. That one fragile sentence, spoken by a 6-year-old girl at 2 in the morning, cut through the roar of engines and clinking bottles like a blade. The Devil's Outlaws Motorcycle Club, 12 hardened men who had spilled blood and seen the worst of the world, froze in silence. Standing in the middle of their garage was a child. She was small, with curly hair framing her face, clutching a backpack almost bigger than her. Her sneakers were dirty from miles of walking. Her voice trembled, but her eyes burned with something stronger than fear. Desperation. Hawk, the president of the club, scarred from a lifetime of violence, slowly stepped forward. "What's your name, sweetheart?" he asked softly, crouching so he wouldn't tower over her. "Maddie," she whispered. "Maddie Johnson." "Where's your mom?" asked Bulldog, the enforcer, his voice rumbling like distant thunder. Maddie swallowed hard. "Daddy said, Mommy's in heaven with the angels. But I think Daddy made her go there. She had red stuff on her head before she went away." The men shifted uncomfortably. They all knew what the red stuff meant. "How'd you get here?" Hawk pressed gently. "I followed the white lines on the highway," Maddie said, her voice barely audible. "All night. Mommy once showed me the way. She told me if anything really bad happened, I should find the scary-looking men who fight monsters." Her little hands unzipped the backpack. Out came snacks, a battered cell phone, and then a kitchen knife, crusted with dried blood. The bikers stiffened. "My daddy used this on Mommy," Maddie whispered. "She told me if anything ever happened, I should take evidence." But that wasn't all. She pulled out a small digital camera and a flash drive hanging from a Hello Kitty keychain. "Mommy taught me to take pictures when Daddy was mean. She said nobody would believe us unless we had proof." Hawk's rough hands gently took the camera and flipped through the pictures. Photo after photo. Bruises, black eyes, cuts. 47 images in total, each one worse than the last. He had seen battlefields and gang wars, but these photos broke something inside him. "Where is your dad now?" Hawk asked, his voice darkening. "He's with his friends," Maddie said. "The men with fast cars and guns. He told me when he comes back, we're leaving forever. He said nobody will ever find us." Before Hawk could answer, the sound of engines thundered outside. Headlights swept across the garage. Not one car, 3. Maddie's face drained of color. "That's them," she whispered. "Daddy's friends." She clutched Hawk's vest. "Please, don't let them take me." The bikers moved into formation instinctively. 12 men, battle-hardened, against 3 cartel enforcers and a drunken father waving a gun. Maddie's father shouted from outside, "You think you can hide her from me? She has something that belongs to us." The cartel men fanned out, weapons in hand. "She's got the drive," one of them barked. "That little brat has everything on us." Maddie's father sneered, his words slurred by alcohol. "Give her to me or we all die tonight." But before Hawk could answer, Maddie stepped out from behind him, all 4 feet of her, standing against men with guns. "You hurt Mommy," she said, her voice shaking but growing stronger. "You made her go to sleep forever. Now the police will know what you do to people." Her father's rage twisted his face. "You cost me everything. I should have gotten rid of you the same night I did her." He never finished. The biker struck like a storm. 90 seconds later, 3 cartel enforcers lay zip-tied and unconscious, their weapons kicked aside. Maddie calmly picked up one of the guns by the barrel, her small hand steady. "This goes to the police too," she whispered. "More evidence." 20 minutes later, police lights painted the night red and blue. Maddie's father was arrested for murder, abuse, and ties to organized crime. The flash drive contained 3 years of cartel records, names, dates, and millions of dollars in transfers. But one question remained. Where would Maddie go now? A social worker named Linda Cooper arrived, her eyes scanning the rough men standing protectively around the girl. "She has an aunt in California," she said carefully, "but it'll take time to process custody, and with cartel ties, it might not be safe." She stays here, Hawk said firmly. Mr. Johnson, you're a convicted felon. The state will never. Then the state has a problem, Hawk cut in, because she chose us, and we're not letting her go. The weeks that followed changed everything. Maddie slept in the meeting room, surrounded by 12 sleeping bags, her new uncles taking turns keeping watch. They learned how to make pancakes, braid hair, buy juice boxes, and sit through Disney movies. They child-proofed their clubhouse, turning a den of criminals into a home. Nightmares haunted her at first, but every time she woke up screaming, one of the bikers was there. Bulldog would sit on the edge of her bed and rumble. Don't be scared, little warrior. Monsters don't mess with us. We're the biggest monsters in this state. And for the first time in her life, Maddie believed it. Months later, the fight moved into a courtroom. The state argued that bikers were too dangerous. Hawk's lawyer argued that they had given Maddie love, safety, and family. When the judge asked Maddie where she wanted to live, she stood tall. They think my family is too scary, she said, but they don't know that sometimes the scariest-looking people have the biggest hearts. Hawk is my daddy now, and all my uncles keep the monsters away. Silence filled the room. Finally, Judge Harper struck the gavel. Custody granted. The courtroom erupted in cheers. Maddie threw herself into Hawk's arms, calling him daddy for the first time. Even the social worker wiped away a tear. A year later, the Devil's Outlaws were no longer just bikers. They ran a program Maddie started called Little Warriors, helping children who had faced abuse. 32 kids found safety under their protection. Local police began calling them for cases where traditional methods failed. And Maddie? She still carried her backpack, but now it was filled with coloring books, crayons, and spare cameras for other children who needed to take evidence. Every anniversary of that night, the club gathered not to celebrate what they did for her, but what she did for them. Because a little girl walked into their garage carrying proof of monsters and taught 12 broken men how to be heroes. And that's how a child's courage turned outlaws into family.